I'm late. Alright. Oh, yeah, no more to be in your shoes. Where's the plug to this? Where's the plug to this one? Is it this? No, that's for the foot charger, I think. Is it this? This. I think it's this. There it is. There. Take off my coat. Artie, can you go be someplace else, buddy? Just go be. Just go relax. Alright. I'm almost to where I want to be. I'll be right back. Are you drinking your water, Mom? Drink your water. I am. Is the cup empty? No, it's not empty. Listen to Nappy Roots. Yeah. Alright. That's not really what I'm feeling right now. Alright. Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Heoke empath. I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. Today was kind of a crazy day. It's a weird day. I know we're getting space weather. I know we're getting coronal mass eruption. We're getting the blast from the sun, and I don't like it. I don't like energy, man. I don't like being up high. I never did coke. I did coke one time, and I was like, this is what people are so crazy about. This is what they freaking throw their lives away over, like a 10-minute, 15-minute. Yeah, that's it. That's the dragon that people chase. No wonder the freaking cracks of society are getting wider. The easier, softer way, man. It's gonna be the end of freaking civilization as we know it. Civilization has already actually evolved into something that is pretty unrecognizable from anything I've ever witnessed in the 49 years that I've been on this earth. Life in America has evolved to a place where the egotistical are freaking where Satan's winning essentially. I got ordained a few years back. I ain't never been into organized religion. I've always been a person of good orderly direction, person of integrity. I haven't always lived in my integrity, but it's always been there. Sometimes, some years I turned my back on my connection to source, God, higher power, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I don't believe in just living my life for myself like so many other people do on this planet. Just go. Every time I hear somebody saying that they're living that best life, I'm like, okay, but what are you doing for others? Most of the time, I'd say 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, people live their whole life and they meet their maker and their maker says, okay, how did you live a life of service in this incarnation? And they're just stumped. They got to think, you know. Well, I went on this vacation and I went on that trip and I ate this and I drank that and I know that one. I know she didn't want nothing to do with me, but I had my way with her anyway and all that stuff, because alcohol was involved. There's all these people that live their life and they just take. Because that's what we're taught to do in America. Take. Or maybe That's not what people are taught in America, but that's what they've learned, and that's where collectively more than 50.1% of the population sits. You know why so many people are leaving? I feel like so many people are like, because Marge Astrology, she left YouTube because they got their following. They got all they need. And so they're going to go and they're going to live in their little bubble, and they're going to live in the lives that they created, where they can still designate and choose where they want to go. And these are the people that they're going to talk to. And that isn't living a life of service. So many people got that twisted, man. You know, living a life of service is doing stuff that makes you uncomfortable. That's what service work is. It's like, man, I don't want to go out in the middle of the night and do this thing. But you know what? I want somebody to come help me if the situation was reversed. You know, that's motivated my behavior a lot. That's one of the reasons why I help so many people, because there's been so many situations in my life that I've called out for help, I've asked for help, I've reached out for help. People say, nah. I got too many other things that are less important to do. You know what I mean? People don't want to be inconvenienced. But you could tell how fast people change their mind when they're the ones that need the help. You know that? It's like dudes when they get sick. Women they get their hoo-haws busted open from childbirth and stuff like that. But a dude gets a cold, and it's just like, I can't function in life. It's hilarious. So what happened today is I got out of the shower. I was going into town this morning, and I get a call from Del Norte, Colorado. And if people have followed my stories, I went up to Del Norte, Colorado back in October 3rd. So two and a half months ago, I went up there, got someone to hang out with Mom. So I wouldn't have to worry too much about her, because I don't live in a reliable place, that's for sure. As far as utilities, power staying on, internet outage, stuff like that. Power goes out. Yeah. So I get a call, and the lady said, we can't get the company to bill you. And I was like, oh, well, that explains it, because it's the federal government. They said we can't, because it was the hospital calling saying that they couldn't get my insurance company, which is TRICARE, which is the military go-to or whatever, and TRICARE West, whatever. I've been in Omaha. I've been in so many different it's ridiculous how ineffective the system is. So, I didn't go into this, and I like I said in talks before, I didn't go into this whole thing with any kind of expectation, because usually in Oregon, the whole situation with the VA was a total freaking nightmare, and I've talked about it. So I was like, okay, well, give people the benefit of the doubt, Marge. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe these people have it more together in New Mexico, right? Don't hold your breath, but maybe. So I she calls and says, and then she calls back because she couldn't get access with the information that she had, so she had to get my social. And then she calls back and said, well, they said, you're not authorized. You weren't authorized to go up and have that done. And I was like, that's funny, because I went through the VA portal. I submitted my claim. They gave me, I've documented this on my YouTube channel all over the place. So it is definitely, let's see if I can find it. Oh, I got it in my pictures. And so they said that I was not authorized to go up there and do that. And I was like, well, that's funny, because I got this text message because I take screenshots of everything. I do things to cover my ass, because I know what a huge, colossal failure the entire system is. All of it. If there's a system involved where there's a lot of people that work in the system, chances are it's gonna fail. Because people just fail themselves every day, how they show up in life. So that's gonna seep out and affect other people when they fail themselves. So I got this text message that says, Optimum server notice. hi, Marge. As a reminder, your VA benefits general medical examination is coming up soon. And then it has the date, the time, the phone number, the address, all the stuff on it. And so I told the lady, she sent me an email, and I sent her this back that was trying to sort out the billing situation up there. And I just do what I'm supposed to do. I show up where I'm supposed to show up, and then the rest, and then the freaking, I fall through the cracks. So I get this email. Because I sent her the picture of that screenshot. Because she said that they have no record where that they told me to go up and do any of that. Like I just, decided to do it up and up by myself. Even though it's all over my VA app. Like it says the claims in there and stuff like that. But it's just they're gathering data. Which is a lie. But at least I got this back from this nice lady up there saying, this will be taken care of. If you have any questions, please let me know. It's just so many people get paychecks every month. And they go to work, they get up every day, they get dressed. They they down their coffee, they stuff their face with their McDonald's or whatever that they stop on the way, And then they go to their job, but they don't feel good about themselves because what they've done with their free will. People don't like, they do whatever they want to do, and then the consequences of their behavior catches up to them, and then they feel bad. I've seen it time and time again. I used to feel really bad about myself because I was 200 pounds. But I would feel bad, and then I would make myself eat things that weren't healthy and good for me because I got comfort in the food. It made me feel better. But then I kept putting on so much weight, I just felt worse and worse and worse. So what I started to do is I just started talking about how I really thought about things instead of, keeping my mouth quiet to go along and get along. And all that stuff, because that's what I did the first part of my life, and it wasn't a real comfortable experience for me. So I made a commitment back when I turned 40, in my early 40s, that I wasn't gonna be a little bitch no more, and I wasn't just gonna, which isn't actually, now that I think about it, I'm gonna tell a story, which I am a little bitch, because I've gotten older and I've learned, like, people like to get my goat, so to speak. They like to provoke me, right? Because they know that I'm going to defend myself, right? But then I'm the asshole. People do shit. If you look at the screenshot of the talk that I did today, it's a little snowman, and then they put it snowed a couple days ago. And not a lot, but my 39-year-old neighbor and her 43-year-old brother, who neither of them work, they drink every day. I don't know how they get their money. He's a hoarder. There's garbage everywhere. I call him Stick Boy. So I was washing the dishes yesterday, and I was like, oh, how cute. They're out there working together. So I take pictures of everything. I'm a recorder. I'm a recorder. That's what I do. Hey, pretty girl. So I take pictures, and I thought to send it to their mom because their mom is my landlady. That's why they live there for free, and freaking create havoc and discord in my life, or try to. I don't really allow it. But, so that's why I talk about stuff, and then I get over, and then I'm past it. I'm over it. And so they were building this little snowman, and I was taking pictures and stuff, and then I was like, and then so when I drove by, I look at it because I'm like, what the heck is that on its head, right? And they put a scary mask on. I mean, it looks straight up evil. And they put it in front of my house where I live. And then they put two little lights, like solar lights up. They think they're really funny, and and I'm just, because everything in me, I just want to go knock it down, right? But my faith is bigger than their fear. Because that's why people act like that. It's because they're afraid of shit, right? And they know I'm a person of God because I've had conversations with them both. And I like to let people know who I am so there's no question. And I found that when people just keep their mouths closed and they don't, they don't agree with you or disagree with you, usually they're not in alignment with you. And they're not people of God. They don't do the right thing, It's funny because when I went to bed, like, she put up, like, Christmas lights on her window, and then they did the snowman, and then I don't know what it is about the lanterns. Like, what does that do? How does that make people feel better? Like, you lose somebody, and then you go get a bunch of lunch bags and put candles in them and line them up. I mean, come on. There's all the other things that people can do to make people feel better besides just stupid stuff. But they lit up lanterns last night. So they had so today it's litter. It was lanterns but they're never going to go back and pick up after themselves. See? And what they are a large percentage of the population of people that exist on this world. We're given free will, and what people do with that free will has gotten real gross. Like, I always get triggered when they do stuff like put out was it $682 trillion is the military budget? So how much? I want to see the itemized list. I want to know how much of that is going toward male enhancement drugs on boner pills. Because back in 2017, they allotted $11 million for freaking men in the military, all across the military, to get boner pills. I'm going to explain. This is Easy Psychology 101. I was talking about this with the Earth Angel the other day. And it's just plain science, folks. It's not my opinion. It's science. Now, I talk about this a lot because it's important, because I don't know if people got the memo, but alcohol, it rots your brain. It makes you dumb. It makes you stupid. It might make you feel like you're smart, but really, you're not. It's a trick. And I used to drink. I drank 13 years alcoholically, and I started seeing the pattern in my life, and the consequences that were happening and stuff like that. So what I did is I stopped doing the things. I stopped doing the thing that make me did the things, and other people, they don't. They just change their playmates. They change what they try to modify this. I'm just not going to drink with them no more. I'll drink. It's just managing. It takes a lot of effort for a drunk to drink how they want to drink. And something else, another little nitnoid fact that people don't know, that when you start drinking, like I started drinking, I had my first taste of Canadian Mist whiskey when I was probably 12, but I didn't have access to alcohol as a 12-year-old. It wasn't until I was 15, 16, I started going to parties where alcohol was a little bit easier to get, because, you grow up where I grew up, parents just buy it for you, because if you just drink at home, then you're not going to go out and get in trouble. Just don't get the kid in the habit to begin with. If you're a drunk, and you got kids, do your kid a favor and don't discourage it at all costs. Just because you threw your life away, don't let them, So what people don't, so when I started drinking at 15, it's like my emotional clock stopped. And I kept drinking, and I drank until I was 28 is when I got sober. 28. And so that's 13 years when I stopped drinking, I was 28, but when I started, I was 15. So I was a 28-year-old with the mentality, emotional intelligence of a 15-year-old. And I think about that, all the people that have always tried, whether they try to do controlled drinking or, whatever the situation is that nobody lives a nice, long, old life without a river of trails as an alcoholic. It just doesn't happen. And some funny thing, let me tell you some funny things about alcohol. How many people that you know that drink, 4 times a week, every day, maybe it's just on weekends, but they'll tell you something like they'll say something like this: I can stop anytime I want. I'm a grown man, woman. I can stop whenever I want. I don't have to drink every day. I do it because I want to. And that's when I go, oh, see, that's what the trick is. Alcohol, it acts like it's your best friend. It was my best friend for years, and then it stopped showing up for me like other people did. So I had to kick it to the curb. But I said, well, what a weird thing that it convinces you all the time that you don't ever want to quit drinking. And you hear the stories of the people that I know in my life and the people that I care about, because I went to Al-Anon too. I didn't just go to AA meetings. I went to Al-Anon too, and for a number of years. And to hear just the cycle of hell that freaking people put people through, and they don't even care because they don't got no spirit left. They don't got no soul. They got all these demonic, evil, wicked attachments. They just, it comes to that. And alcohol causes for like 6 different kinds of freaking, like, ask an alcoholic, to someone that's drank every day for freaking 10 years or plus, ask them when the last time they had a healthy bowel movement was. They can't answer because they don't exist. Because it tears up your stomach, it tears up your butthole, it tears up all your intestines, it tears up your freaking esophagus. It's, just the places that it takes people, because they give it the power, and it doesn't do me a whole lot of good. All those people that say God will fix ya, like after the day that I had. Malicious Intent is what I called today's talk, because I was talking about the just how people like to do things just to cause trouble. I never been like that. Like, I don't go and break people's shit if I don't like them. Maybe when I was a little kid, like, I break Jerry's toy, but then I had to pay for it. Like, I had to get, or something like that. But Mom was always sure that you don't be spiteful, And I've never been big on jealousy. Not to say that I don't, I'm a human being. I can be a jealous person, but I've never hated people because of things that they've had. I dislike people because of how vacant and void and selfish they are. That's why I don't like people, because they're selfish. It's because that they take all the free will that they've been given and they live only for themselves. And a lot of these people do it in families where, like, they're part of a family dynamic, but yet that family dynamic was made to evolve around them. Isn't that weird? So I heard from my dad. He's okay. I just sent him a message, said hope he's resting comfortably. He had the rest of his teeth. That's another thing, weird things freaking human beings do. They freaking pull out all their teeth and then they get fake ones, I don't even know. Like, that is so much pain. I can't, and he don't take pills. Because, he has an addicted personality. It's where I get mine from. So he just rather freaking white knuckle it, for a couple days, and then take the pills and risk freaking, going off to the races again. When his mom died, I remember seeing a bottle of Jack Daniels up in the cupboard next to the box of cereal. And I wondered if he put the Jack Daniels on the cereal ever, because that's something I would have done when back in my drinking days. I was a pig, man. But I don't think he picked it up as like a regular habit or anything. I don't know. The guy, we don't talk, I just am trying to participate in his life more because it makes me feel better. I got that forever scorched in my mind. I got to try, I got to try. And, he don't got to try. But how other people treat me isn't supposed to freaking affect me, even though it does. Like my whole life, I think it's funny that people talk about how they plan their life and they live accordingly and they just only do what they want to do. I think that's hilarious. Like I can't even get a freaking VA claim. I get lost in the freaking cracks, right? So then I called the VA office and I said, "Where's my claim?" And she asked me all my, the questions and stuff, and then she goes, and then I said, "Where's my?" And she's like, "Oh, it's right here." I said, Why is the billing department at the place and that I went to saying that I wasn't authorized, and why am I getting calls? Why has it been 3 months and I haven't heard nothing from you people? Why? This is why freaking people don't want to deal with the system, because it's not. How many people didn't get disrupted because they didn't do their job, but they still got paychecks. They still get paychecks. So I'm all for universal freaking pay for anybody, as long as you're freaking born on this planet. I don't care if your parents are rich, Not that don't always last. That don't, There's plenty of freaking parents don't like their kids. They want a different make, the different model. They can't trade it in, so they just kick them out. Or they just treat them so poorly the kid just runs away. Happens all the time. There aren't any places for these people to go. And it's getting cold. And more people are on the streets freezing to fucking death. And nobody should be freezing to death, because these people are sleeping on the streets and there's buildings all over the place that could be occupied. But somebody someplace thinks that these people don't matter. That those people, it don't matter. That they can go to a church. That's what, how many churches don't help people with overnight sleep and food, but they're non-for-profit. They get all those tax write-off. False for profit is what I call them. We're going to see in the next few years, man. The world, here it comes. This is what we've been waiting for, folks. This is where it's hitting the fan, folks. This is where we get to see what people are really made of. Yeah. Anyway. What else happened today? Aside from the whole VA thing. The lady was like, "Oh, the claim says," I said, "So what you're telling me is the computer screen that you're looking at says the same thing as this little VA, God bless you, Mom, this little VA app that I use. Now, in other areas, it's cool. Now, because I was talking so much trash, let me balance out that negative energy with a little positivity. Okay? So when I log in to the account, I go to the VA clinic here in town. They look at my blood, make sure I'm healthy. Aside from that, that's all I'm going to ever do with the doctor, I think. And so unless things change. So I get, and it has information on it, has your claims, has a little thing here for claims, right? Claim history. Here it is. Here's my claim. And the lady read it back to me. We first received it on August 14th, right? That's when I first wrote the email saying I need my percentage raised because I am done with society and can't go work no more because my body's too broke because the shit that I did for Uncle Sam. It's my karma. So August 14th is when the claim was received. Initial review, August 15th. Right now, we're in what way they call the evidence gathering, review, and decision. Right? It's been sitting in that freaking pigeonhole since October 7th. That's when I had my appointment on October 3rd, and the woman who did my appointment said, I am going to send your report. I want you to know that I'm going to send your report on Friday. That'll be October 7th. And I said, I get what you're telling me. Then it's going to be in their hands. I get it. I thank you for that. And then I got note on the 7th. or that Friday or Monday, I looked up and it said, okay, she put it through, right? And then so, there's a lot of good people out there that really do want to help people. They really do. Like, they really care. You know it? And a lot of these people, their hands are tied with stuff that they can do because there's so many rules and regulations and policies and procedures that are put in place to hinder and not to help. A lot of companies, a lot of people in places, like, they get bonuses at the end of the year. I never had a job where I really had a bonus. I worked at Creighton University, and what they would do is, like, the Friday, like, before Christmas or whatever, they fed, like, 1,500 people. They gave you a free lunch, I mean, like, tuition for Creighton University is obnoxious. It's ridiculous, right? So that times, plus they have their online school. So total enrollment was like 10,000, times 50,000 a year, right? Like, that's a lot of money. But then you got your people that have their 10-year, and universities and stuff like that, they're clubs within clubs. So it's like, oh, I want to go vacation in Italy. So let's arrange it so I'll be a teaching professor in Italy. But it's all arranged, right? It's all a freaking racket. There's like my whole life I was always worried about getting in trouble and doing the wrong thing. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. And then what I started noticing is there are people that do, like, look at the freaking what's his face's son. I can't even I won't refer to the guy. I don't believe in politics. The whole political, like, all of it is just a resource hog. Like, when I look, it's the way I see it. Like, I don't, in the feds, man, end it. Like, what could every local community do with how much? $682 trillion is what the freaking, military budget was released as. And after all the money that they sent, it's just, I know that it's not like, money in suitcases it's all proverbial, it's all posturing, it's not like really exchange, it's like, here are guns and stuff like that and things like that. But still, there's karma related to this, and that's what people are gonna feel. And family lines too. Like if people have been living shady generation after generation, like the freaking Boo Bowden and his boy Hunter, and they just drinking and fornic and all the sinful stuff, right? And there's generation after generation of sin and sin and sin, and all the while seeing the consequences of how much harm sin creates in people's lives, right? Because of narcissists and egomaniacals and people that just don't care. I'm gonna do what I want to do, right? You got all these people going around doing whatever they want to do, all this sinning, and people have their free will, and they keep acting like all the people before them, like all the power hungry, creepy, bleh. They keep perpetuating that instead of breaking the chains that bind them and living a righteous life, just motivated by good orderly direction. And doing the right thing isn't watching people suffer. And everybody does it. They go out in their communities every day. I know, and they don't see them? You don't see people suffering? If one single person went out every day and found somebody that was suffering and tried to just alleviate their pain just a little bit, this place would be a much different place. But people are everybody's waiting for somebody else to come help them. But where the real healing begins is when you gotta pull yourself up out of bed just to get through the day and oh God and all that stuff, and still go out and do something for other people to make their lives better. It makes life much less shitty. So many people just are waiting. They're waiting for that knock on the door. They're just waiting. I stopped waiting years ago. You know, I was such a naive little girl. I just, I imagine like, like because we watched so much TV, and I watched all the like the rom-coms and stuff like that, and I believed in family, and I believed in, like I used to watch the Cosby Show, even though I couldn't stand Bill Cosby because he just oozed freaking narcissist to me. Like dudes that wear sweaters like that. There's so many parts about that guy. I mean, when I was 2 years old, I used to look at the TV. Mom used to tell stories about how I used to like he'd be on the TV. And back in the 70s, they had those big old console TVs that sat on the ground, with the wood and everything. And I walk up to the TV and I'd point at him and at his eyes, and I'd say, "Bad eyes, bad eyes." Ever since I was a little girl, I could see void of spirit through people's eyes. Like I haven't come across one of those black-eyed people yet where like they don't have a soul. Like completely. I think a lot of people have remnants of their old like of the right that they cover up every day. Like that voice inside you that says, "Don't do that, it's going to hurt that person." That conscience, that collective conscience. Like things would be a lot better if you wouldn't, go out on your wife. I remember going to coffee with this lady before a meeting, and I get a smoothie, and usually because so she and I were talking, and she was married, had kids, and she told me about how her old high school boyfriend, because I say the things that people don't want to hear. See, I don't co-sign people's shit, and I'm not gonna like encourage them to do freaking things that they're gonna wish that they hadn't done, right? So she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go hook up with them," And I look at her, I said, "You don't want to be that woman. Do you want to be the woman that freaking cheats on her husband? Like, really, that's the woman that you are?" She didn't do it. I don't know if it had anything to do with anything that I said. Another couple, this woman, and I went to her husband, or I went to her wedding when she married her husband. Then she and the guy decided they didn't like each other, and so she started dating this chick, right? And they like asked me to come to Red Lobster because they wanted to tell me that they were dating. And I was like, "Well, you're like 4 months sober," the one that wasn't married. And the other one, I was like, "And you're married. Like, why do people, like, you like each other so much that you're gonna, like, shit on propriety and just do what you want just to be together?" Like, I never understood that. Like, if you guys really like each other, you go over there for another freaking 8-9 months and sort yourself out because you're just drying out from being a drunk all the time, and you freaking go get a divorce and figure out your life and then come back together after your messes are clean. I just don't even get it. But I guess it's just easier to live messy. I guess that's just easier. I guess that's just easier. So, anyway, there's a lot of people out there with maliciousness in their heart. It's important not to freaking succumb to it, not to live a spiteful way. It's really, really important. And I understand what it's like to get... I understand because when I get scared, I figure all I got to do is get mad and I can get my way. There's a lot of karma that comes with that. So, it don't do me no good. So a lot of times, I just got to actually just turn the cheek and walk the other way. And pray about it, and however it's going to turn out, it's going to turn out. We're just really spectators on this freaking twisty rock that's flying through. Incidentally, I'm having a really hard time lately with this one subject. Is your eye okay? No, actually, I misspoke. I didn't say that right. is that I've come to the realization that I really don't know what shape the planet is. The fact is, I guess if they sort it out, that's great. The way I look at it, I think it matters more how people, regardless of the shape of what in which we live, whatever the shape is, I think it's more important that people start caring a little bit more about other people. You know, love thy neighbor as their self, as their self, and all that jazz. Isn't that what they say? Do unto others, treat people how you want to be treated.